Hi, I'm glad to see everybody. Let me introduce myself. My name is Victoria Nikolaevna Golovacheva. I'm a professor, Department of Information and Computing Systems, Karaganda Technical University. Course Java Software Application Development for students enrolled in the educational program Information Systems. Today we have lecture number 1. Topic: Introduction to Object-Oriented Programming. OOP, it is an abbreviation. You can see information in the brackets. The plan of our lecture is presented on the slide number 2. We have 6 questions. The first question is Java language, the history of development. The second question, why learn a new Java programming language? The third question is, what is object-oriented programming? The fourth question, object-oriented approach. The fifth question, advantages and disadvantages Java. And the sixth question, Java Development Kit. Please look on the next slide. You can see the purpose of our lecture. The purpose of our lecture is to get acquainted with the basic concept of an object-oriented approach, OOP, to software design. Since in Java, almost all types, with the exception of the 8 simplest ones, are object, proficiency in OOP becomes a prerequisite for the successful use of the language. Next slide, guys. You can see question. What is Java? Definition. So, Java is an object-oriented programming language developed by Sun Microsystems that later acquired by Oracle. Please, guys, look on the next slide, slide number 5. You can see a photo of James Gosling. He was born on May 19 in 1955 in Canada. He is the author of the object-oriented and cross-platform programming language Java. Okay. Please, guys, look on the next slide. You can see a picture. The team creation of programming language Java. Be careful, please. On the right, you can see a man in glasses and white t-shirt with a coffee cup sticker. He's James Gosling and his famous team creation of programming language Java. Okay. So, next slide, slide number 7, presents the following information. The head of the team, James Gosling, thought for a long time what to call the new language, and once, looking out the window and thinking about the problem, he drew attention to an oak tree that stood aside from the window, and immediately it dawned on him. He decided to name the new language Oak. Next slide presents the following information. After about 2 or 3 years, they began to look for a new name for the language, more suitable and more beautiful. Finally, they decided to rename the language to Java in honor of the brand of coffee, which, by the way, liked to drink sitting by the window. James Gosling is the head of the team. Programmers worked on the Java language for several years until the first version of the language, Java 1.0, was released in 1995. Okay, guys, next slide, please. Look at the next slide. You can see a question. Why learn a new Java programming language? And answer, it's specifically geared towards the most advanced technologies associated with the Internet. The growing popularity of the Internet, and in particular web servers, creates new opportunities for programmers to realize their abilities. Okay, guys, please look on the next slide. It presents the following information. In the second half of the 1980s, an urgent need arose for a new programming methodology that would be able to solve the whole complex of problems, because traditional methods of procedural programming are unable to cope either with the increasing complexity of programs and their development, or with the need to increase their reliability. Okay, you can see that it became object-oriented programming. OOP, it is an abbreviation. Remember, please, OOP, sign, object-oriented programming. So guys, next slide. Programming paradigm. Programming paradigm in which the main concepts are the concepts of objects and classes. It's very important, objects and classes. So guys, next slide. Object-oriented programming. OOP, it is an abbreviation. You already know about it. Definition. What does it mean? So, OOP is one of the most rapidly developing areas of theoretical and applied programming. This you should remember it. So, object-oriented approach. Object-oriented approach to design is based on representing the problem domain in the form of a set of models for language-independent development of a software system based on its pragmatics. Okay, next slide, guys. Slide number 15. It presents the concept of the pragmatics. What does it mean? So, the pragmatics are determined by the goal of developing a software system. For example, servicing bank customers, managing airport operations, servicing the World Cup, etc. And in the middle of this picture, you can see pragmatics and also flexibility, reality, and efficiency. Okay, guys, next slide. Objects and concepts of the real world that are related to the system being created are involved in the formulation of the goal. In the middle of this picture, you can see concept that includes a lot of different words. Word 1, you can see, word 2, word 3, word 4, word 5, word 6, and word 7. Okay. Next slide. It presents the following information. In the object-oriented approach, these objects and concepts are replaced by models. Models, i.e., certain formal constructions. In the middle of this picture, you can see certain formal constructions. They are models. Okay, guys, next slide. Semantics and pragmatics. You can see figure number 1 named semantics and pragmatics. What does it mean? Semantics, the meaning of the program from the point of view of the computer running it. You should remember this definition, the meaning of the program from the point of view of the computer running it. And the pragmatics, what does it mean? The meaning of the program from the point of view of its users. It's pragmatic. Okay, guys, next slide. Slide number 19. It presents the object-oriented approach has such advantages as, first of all, reducing the complexity of the software. It's very important. Next advantage is increasing the reliability of software. Next advantage of the object-oriented approach is providing the ability to modify individual software components without changing the rest of its components. And the next advantage of the object-oriented approach is ensuring the ability to reuse individual software components. Okay, guys, you should remember these advantages of the object-oriented approach. Next slide. There are disadvantages of Java. They are, first of all, slow performance. Slow performance. Next disadvantage of young Java, no support for low-level programming. Next disadvantages of Java is poor features in Java. And next disadvantage of Java is no control over garbage collection. Okay, next slide, guys. You can see in general advantages and disadvantages of Java. Advantages. Java is platform independent. Once it complies, you can run the bytecode on any machine with a Java interpreter. You don't have to recompile for each platform. Next advantage, Java is safe. Certain common programming bugs or endangered operations are prevented by the language and compiler. For example, null pointers in Java. Next advantage of Java, Java standardizes these many useful operations like managing network connections and providing graphical user interfaces. Disadvantages. They are running bytecode through the interpreter is not as fast as running machine code, which is specific to that platform. Because it's platform independent, it's difficult to use platform-specific features. For example, Windows taskbar, quick launch in Java. Next disadvantage of Java, Java interpreter must be installed on the computer in order to run Java programs. Okay, next slide, guys. It presents the following information about Java Development Kit. The basic tools needed to create programs for creating programs in the Java programming language are included in the JDK, is a development kit for applications in the Java programming language. Open source software, it can be downloaded freely and free of charge from the official website. It's Oracle Corporation. In the brackets, you can see its link www.oracle.com. Okay, next slide. You can see composition of GDK. Compiler, documentation, examples, utilities, and Java runtime environment. JRE, it is an abbreviation, Java runtime environment. Next slide. Composition of Java runtime environment. It includes virtual Java machine and Java class libraries. Or virtual Java machine, in other words, Java interpreter. Okay. Next slide, guys. You can see editorial GDK. You can see 3 editorial GDK. First of all, is standard edition. Standard edition. CE, it is an abbreviation. Next editorial GDK, Enterprise Edition. Abbreviation EE. And the third editorial GDK is Micro Edition. ME. It is an abbreviation too. In general, we have 3 editorial GDK: Standard Edition, Enterprise Edition, and Micro Edition. Okay. Next slide. Slide number 26 presents Integrated Development Environment, IDE. They are NetBeans IDE, next integrated development environment is Sun Java Studio Creator. Next integrated development environment and IntelliJ IDEA, IDEA. Next integrated development environment is Borland JBuilder. And the last integrated development environment is Eclipse. Okay, you should remember about it. Next slide, it presents the following information about IDI composition. A specialized text editor that facilitates formatting of program text, syntax highlighting, and other conveniences. Text editor, debugger. Debugger is a software package for finding and fixing errors in the program. Next, background compiler, which indicates syntax errors while typing the program text. And next, reference system. Okay. Next slide, guys. It presents the main features of Java cross-platform, such as Windows, Linux, Android, Solaris, Mac OS, and many others. They are famous. Next slide, guys. It presents the diagram. Please look on this diagram, block diagram, carefully. You can see that for execution of the program on the computer, it must be installed JRE. The Java machine interprets the bytecode, taking into account the peculiarities of the given operating system. Next slide, guys, presents a very important information about Java. Resources. Please look in these resources carefully and try to remember them. First of all, we can see link http java.sun.com. Java's main site. From here, you can also copy JDK. Next resources, http://developer.java.sun.com. Java technology news. And a lot of useful things for the developer. You can find it. Next links about Java technology news. http:// industry.java.sun.com/. Next link, http://www.javasoft.com/ site of the JavaSoft company, Sun division. Next link, on the website of the IBM company, there is a large section where you can find a lot of useful information for programmer. http://www.ibm.com/developer/java/. Okay. And next link, Russian language site. You can find there a lot of useful information about Java. Link http://www.javaable.com/doc/. Okay. Next slide, guys. It presents the following information from the internet you can find. For example, Java textbooks. It's very useful information for you. Link http://bookwebmaster.narod.ru/java.html textbooks Java. Okay. Next slide. Next link, excuse me, Introduction to Java Programming, and its link. Next link, Java Application Sample Library. And Basic Video Java. Link https://stipic.org. Okay, very well. If you have any question to me, you can answer them. I'll ask them and I'll answer on them with pleasure. And now you can see next slide number 33, control questions. We have 10 questions. You should answer on them. The first question, what is Java? The second question, who is James Gosling? The third question, what does the word paradigms mean in terms of programming? Next question, what programming paradigms do you know? Next question, why learn a new Java programming language? Next question, what is OOP? Seventh question, list the advantages and disadvantages of Java. Next question, what editorial JDK do you know? Next question, what is Java Development Kit? And the last question, list composition of Java runtime environment. Okay, thank you very much for your attention.